Sanbanan. Makebalo. Now, in this question, we'll be dealing with these two graphs, which is the hyperbola graph and the exponential graph. Now, again, if you haven't joined the family, please do join the family, guys. Just subscribe below and like the video, and also comment below how was the video, did you find usefully, and suggest the question that you want me to do a video on. So let's get going. First question here, which is 5.1, they're asking us to state the x and the y intercept of g at x, which is the hyperbola graph. So 5.1, or this basically 5, this was question 5, and then 5.1, they're asking us the y and x and the y intercept. So x intercept, again, it's letting y to be equals to 0. So there is going to be 0 is equals to 3 into x minus 2, and then plus 1. And then from here we transpose. Take 1 to the other side, becomes minus 1. And then is equals to 3 all over x minus 2. And then from here, this is over 1. We do a cross multiplication. So it's going to be 3 is equals to negative x, because this negative is going to times this. Then this negative is going to times this, which is going to be positive 2. Hopefully, we are still on the same page there. There's a step that I skipped there. Hopefully, you see that step. Then from here, I'm going to take x to the other side to become positive, and then 2, take 3 to the other side, becomes minus 3. So my x will be minus 1. This is my x-intercept here, which is negative 1 maps to 0. Now, finding the y-intercept. So y-intercept basically letting x to be 0. So it's going to be g of 0, which is 3 into 0 minus 2 plus 1, which is going to give me 3 into 0 minus 2 plus 1, which is negative 1 over 2. So this is going to be 0 maps to negative 1 over 2. This is my y-intercept. This is my x-intercept. That was 2 marks. And then they're asking me to write down the y-asymptote of h. The y-asymptote of h. So 5.2 y-asymptote of h, which is this one here, the graph of h. So the y-asymptotes there is y is equals to, remember, the asymptotes, especially when it's come to the exponential graph, it only has one asymptote, which is the y-asymptote, which is this here, which is a y is equals to negative 1. That's the y-asymptote. So y is equals to negative 1. That's the y-asymptotes there. And then they are saying state the range. That is 5.3. State the range of G. Now, this is my graph of G there. Now, the range, again, it deals with the y-axis. So the y-axis of a range. Now, it's very important. It's easy. It's basically you need to know your asymptote. It's easy. All the x of element of real numbers, but there is a big but there. But because we have the asymptote, now the asymptote in this case is y is equals to positive 1. So your graph will never touch your asymptote. Oh, sorry, here I was writing x supposed to be y, all the element of real numbers. But y should not be equals to what? Should not be equals to 1, which is your y asymptote of this hyperbola graph. It's easy. Even if they ask you a domain, if I can just make an example of a domain. If they ask you a domain, again, x is an element of all real numbers. But there's a big but there of this asymptote of x. Again, what is an asymptote of x there? Is an x is equals to what? Positive 2. But now, because this is a domain, it's where it's restricted, it's where your graph doesn't touch. So your graph will never touch. So your graph will never be equals to what? Positive 2. This was just an example. If they ask you the domain, the question wasn't there. Now, going to 5.4. 5.4, which is basically what is there, which is they're asking us to sketch both graph on the same set of x's. Now let's start with the information that we already have here when it's come to the hyperbola. Now hyperbola, first thing we need to start by stating our asymptote where x is equals to 2. So x is equals to 2 is this one here, which I need to indicate with the dotted lines. This is my asymptote, where my x asymptote, and my y asymptote where y is equals to positive 1. So it's this one here, which is my y asymptote, and I already have their x-intercept and the y-intercept. So my x is equals to negative 1 maps to 0. So it's this one here, and my y is equals to 0 maps to half, negative half, which is somewhere here. So if I can just draw this one, again, your graph doesn't touch your asymptote. And now, after writing this, don't forget, Pela, with this, there's also a graph here, which is you just have to draw it here. Hyperbola graph has two graphs. After writing this, don't forget to write the other one. Please, man, please, please, please. Now, coming to this one here, where we need to draw another one, which is the exponential graph. Now, we don't have the information of the exponential graph, but we need to first find it. Now, before we find it, let me just do the asymptote where y is equals to negative 1. So the asymptote here will be this one. So this is very, very important. That's going to be the asymptote where your graph is not going to touch. Now let's try and find the information on that graph. So h of x is equals to 3 into x minus 2 and then minus 1. So if we let y to be 0, finding the x-intercept, so it's going to be 0 is equals to 3 into x minus 2 and then minus 1. Then take this one to the other side. Is going to be positive 1 into 3 into x minus 2. And then now the exponents, they're going to be very important. Here, if you check this, change it to be 3 into 0, because anything raised by 0, it's what? It's 1. So 3 into x minus 2. Now the same bases are the same, so we drop the exponents. So it's going to be 0 is equals to x minus 2, and then we take 2 to the other side. So x is going to be what? Positive 2. So the x-intercept here is going to be 2 maps to 0. Now let's go here and plot it. So where it's x is positive 2, so this is my x where it's positive 2. It's somewhere here. Now let's draw, let's find the y-intercept. Now finding the y-intercept is just basically y is equals to 3 into 0 minus 2 minus 1. So now let's see what do we find from there. So it's going to be 3 into 0 minus 2 and then minus 1, which we're basically finding 8 over 9, which is negative 8 over 9, which is basically approximately 0,88 or basically 0.89. So basically here is what is 0 maps to negative 8 over 9. So let's come and find this one. So 0 and negative 0,88. So it's basically somewhere here where is 0, something. So it's going to be somewhere here in this graph. So if I can join now, this graph is going to be going this direction, which is my exponential graph. So now my h or my g of x is the blue one, my g of x, and my h at x is the red one, which is the h at x. Now let me indicate all this information that is very important here. I know this one is x is equals to, no, not x, it's y. It's y is equals to 1. And this one here is x is equals to positive 2. And then this one here is y is equals to negative 1. And then this point here again is very important, is 2 maps to 0. And this one here of the blue graph is, what was it? Was 0 maps to negative 1 over 2. And yeah, and then that's it. So you can indicate also this one where it's negative 1 maps to 0. So this one here is the one where 0 maps to negative 8 over 9. So that was the whole question of question 5. Thank you so much, guys, again for watching. Makebalo.